Well, since the book came out, I think everything changed in my life. I found myself suddenly with a new job. I had a scientific career in my mind in front of me, and instead I found myself with something totally different. And well, we often think about success in terms of fame, but I don't think this is something that a writer really looks for, because you choose to write because you want to be protected by the page, by the book itself. So writing gives you time to think anytime you have to say something. And instead you find yourself facing audiences and facing journalists and interviews, and that forces you to give very quick answers and to make your brain work much faster than you should do. So I think I struggled a bit, especially at the beginning, with this aspect of success, so this exposure to people. But of course, it opened me many roads, and I think what will remain of all this mess of these first 2 years will be many opportunities, especially the opportunity to do what I want to do and to realize the ideas I have, which is really a privilege, especially for people of my age, especially in Italy now.
Still a little bit of your song in my ear. Still a little bit.
As soon as the book was out, people started asking me, have you chosen between physics and literature? And for the first months I always said, no, why do I have to choose? And then slowly I understood that I really had to choose, because you cannot do two things in such an involving way at the same level. So, but the decision in a way came by itself, and I was slowly dragged to the literary world, and this is very strange because I decided it in a time when I wasn't really writing, so I wasn't really a writer at that time. But I think it's, well, what really makes me be sure about it is that in physics I found myself, as soon as I started working on it and not only studying the subject, I realized that I really had to concentrate on very small details, very small and hard details to understand, and work on that for maybe months or weeks. And that was a bit frustrating to me, because I thought I could never really solve what I had to solve. Like, my mind, there was something missing in my mind to do that. That kind of research. And whereas in writing, it happens to me that the more I do it, the more I get fond of it. The passion is still raising, even now that I'm doing it in a professional way. So probably this is the only thing that I have to keep in mind to make my decision. What I find really similar from science to writing is what I look for in the end when I do that, and it's a kind of satisfaction, this feeling of order around you that you put by doing a calculation or by writing a page, writing a story, which is like putting in order some thoughts, some feelings. But of course, with literature, you build your own rules anytime. Of course, you have the structure of the language and you cannot escape that, but the rules you are playing in, you can build them anytime anew. So I feel more free when I do it. In science, probably you have only one exact result, one exact calculation for what you're doing, and you really have to find that one. And if you don't find it, then you're failing. So this was always very hard for me to handle. I like the inaccuracy of writing, of that slight inaccuracy that you always have. Of course, you also have it in physics, and every physicist knows that inaccuracy is part of every physics calculation. There's always an error associated to whatever you measure and calculate. But in physics, you always struggle with it, whereas in literature, you kind of play with it. And also when you build metaphors, I think the most beautiful thing about metaphor is that there is always some ambiguity in them. They are not precise, they are not exact, and that space of ambiguity is really what is most fascinating to me. So you can play. I'm still working in physics for some months because I want to end my PhD program, and then I will concentrate on writing on a new novel probably, and I'll see. Okay, I don't know what my work will be in 10 years, but now I will try to do that seriously and full time. I think now my wish is a longer career in writing, but you never know. As I found out, things can really change suddenly, and that is good. I think that gives you a lot of hope about not being bored of anything. A big part of the success of the book was due to certainly to the beautiful cover that was already in the Italian edition and then was kept by the Dutch publisher and by many other publishers in the world. And this is a self-portrait of a Dutch girl. At the time, I think she was about 16, so very young. And people of the Italian publishing house found it on the web, on Flickr, which is one of these sites where photographers upload their photographs. And actually it was the only choice, so we didn't even have to choose it. They just showed it to me, and everybody agreed that it was perfect because of this. It has a very beautiful ambiguity, because I know that this face is a face of a girl, but as it's made like this, it could also be a young boy or a young girl hidden behind a tree. And so in one photograph, the three main characters of the book are summarized, and it's so mysterious and somehow scary and intense. The first time I came to Amsterdam to present the book, it was in January 2009, and I met the photographer, who's called Miriam, and she came to a seminar I gave, and it was, to me, really a strange experience to meet the face of my book after more than a year. And I really recognized, even though I don't understand hardly anything about photography, it was immediate for me to understand that she has a great talent. We kept in contact after that time, and she told me that she's now working quite often to do covers for other books, so she's probably starting a career in that, and I'm very happy that I was, well, the first one who gave her this opportunity somehow.
You know that you just don't know